Action. Now we're recording and we're going live for 20 seconds.
Go live in 20 seconds.
20 seconds?
We have been live for 20 seconds. It's been live.
Okay, 7. All right, showtime.
What's up, everybody? It's Chef Cynthia with Chef Cynthia Eats. Welcome to the live show. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm happy to be here. It is almost the 4th of July. 3 days off, 4 days off, however you want to party. Let's get it started. I'm thrilled to present to you guys a vegan barbecue meal that I made up that is one of my favorites, and you're going to be surprised at what I cook up for you tonight. But every year, all of us celebrate the 4th of July. It's a celebration centered around freedom and was initially experienced in 1776, but didn't become a federal holiday until 1870. And now what we do traditionally in the United States is celebrate with parades and walkathons and fireworks, and most of all, family time. Deep family traditions around 4th of July holiday, centered around food, which is amazing because if you live in the South or wherever you live, everyone has this tradition where whether they are preparing hamburgers or hot dogs or ribs or whatever is their favorite for the family. And most of the times when you are vegan, you feel kind of left out because you don't get to have the same things. And so oftentimes vegans will bring their own plates or prepare their own meals or simply miss out on the festivities because of the lack of diversity that is experienced when they attend holiday events around the 4th of July. But we don't have to do that anymore. There are so many companies that have created alternative meat products that we are able to utilize and create creative meals all our own, as well as and including barbecue. And so tonight in this recipe, I am going to share 4 of my favorites. The first is a recipe for vegan barbecue drumsticks. You heard me. There are drumsticks that are made from soy protein or soybean protein, non-GMO. They are delicious if you know what you're doing. And they are made by All Vegetarian Inc. and they are amazing. They and contain vegan seasonings. They have the stick is made of sugar cane. That's very interesting to me. And then the alternative meat product is a non-GMO soybean protein and starch, which is really, really interesting. And you wonder, well, what would that taste like? Well, for me, the way I cook it tastes just like barbecue chicken. So I'm going to introduce that recipe to you. I'm also going to introduce my other favorite. Beans are my go-to for when I'm feeling that I need additional protein in my diet. I just love beans, all kinds of beans. I love barbecue beans, and so I am preparing what I call my barbecue steak beans instead of my barbecue baked beans, and you're going to see why in just a moment. And then also tonight I am introducing to you all how I prepare my corn on the cob. The beautiful thing about this, if you are like me, what I call the lazy cook, I don't want to put in a lot of time when I'm preparing these meals for my family. I want to make it as simple as possible, as less ingredients as possible, but yet explode with flavor. And I'm going to show you how I prepare my corn on the cob in the oven, simple and easy. And then last, a new recipe that I created earlier today is cucumber watermelon salad. And some of you might be like, what in the, trust me, it's good. So I'm going to show you that later as well. So look, let's get started. Let's get started with the first one. So I'm going to start first with the baked beans, my barbecue steak beans. I start with kidney beans or your barbecue beans, but I have some let's see, all of this entire meal is going to be prepared in the oven. doesn't take as long as other meals. So I'm starting off with my basic beans, and next, that's about, I would say, 3 cups of baked beans, plain, vegan. A cup of that into the beans. I hated the crunch, I hated the flavor, but as I've grown older and become a chef, I've learned to appreciate the depth that white onions will provide or add to any dish. And onions are a weird kind of vegetable because certain onions are used for certain types of recipes. And so white onions doesn't go with everything. You have many different types of onions, and so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to incorporate the proper onion in your recipe. For this recipe, for me, it's white onion. But you can steak seasoning. Now, you may think, wow. Alrighty, so we're adding, I don't know, I'm going crazy until the ancestors tell me to stop. So I'm adding probably about 3 teaspoons of the steak seasoning. Again, as you all know, minimize as much salt as possible and just go with basic seasonings and don't add on top of it. So that's all the seasoning that I'm going to add to that particular recipe. So again, that's baked beans, plain, vegan, barbecue sauce, which is a hickory tangy barbecue sauce, diced white onions, and then about 3 teaspoons of steak seasoning. That's it for that. Other people may add lots and lots more. I don't. I try to keep it simple. Oftentimes, I try to keep my recipes down to less than 4 to 5 ingredients as much as possible with this minimal salt, and let the natural flavors of the vegetables gel with each other and do their thing. Alrighty, next, what I'm going to prepare for you. I'm going to prepare, this is so easy and so simple, but when you take it out of the oven, you will be pleasantly surprised. I'm going to prepare my corn on the cob. This is going to be baked in the oven along with everything else, and they'll come out around the same time, which is awesome. Alrighty, so first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my foil. I wrap each ear in foil. So let's get my foil, make some room here for myself. Pardon me. And there are 2 ingredients that I need to make really juicy, sweet, but yet flavorful corn on the cob. First, fresh. I love fresh, not frozen. Freshly picked is preferred if you're lucky enough. And then I also incorporate Miyoko's Creamery butter. This is vegan butter made from cashews from a company out of California. One of my favorites. This is one of my favorite vegan butters. I have other favorites, but this one with certain recipes just melts so well and has a flavor that almost resembles dairy butter. It is insane. The technology that is used to create Miyoko's is amazing. Alright, so we're going to simply cover the ear of corn with Miyoko's. Now, I never said this was so we're going to cover this ear all the way around with butter, the vegan butter, Miyoko's. And then next, after that, now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can melt the butter, pour it on, or you can slather it on cold. I like to do it cold, just turns out better for the corn in the end. Next, I'm going to sprinkle it with garlic salt. Not too much. This is more for flavor than anything. The mix with the sugar and the corn, with the garlic salt, and the heat with the butter creates a magical experience when it comes from baking in the oven. Right? Then I just wrap it like a Tootsie Roll tightly. Twist the ends. And simply place. Alright, let's do it one more time. We're going to slather our vegan butter onto the recipe, or excuse me, onto the ear of corn. To your liking, you can just do one side, you can do both. Either way, it's going to melt across and through in the corn. It melts and it'll spread and it'll be good. Alrighty, so we're covering that with vegan butter. Great. That butter melts very quickly also, so just keep that in mind. And then we sprinkle it with garlic salt. Alrighty, and then we wrap it like a Tootsie Roll, really, really tight. Keep the moisture and the heat in, and there we go, voila. We place that in the oven to bake. Lastly, the vegan drumsticks. These are the cutest. Again, this product is made by All Vegetarian Inc. These are the cutest and the most delicious vegan drumsticks I've had. And they are a new product. Yes, they are processed meat, so I don't like to do a lot of processed meat, but I'm not against it. For those of you who are transitioning to the vegan lifestyle, or you just like to dabble and are a flexitarian and you're looking for something with texture, with a flavor that resembles what you're used to, try it. You never know if you'll like it until you try. So we're going to make with this my barbecue drumsticks. So it is so simple to make this recipe. So I'm going to place the oven. It's no different than if you've ever made baked barbecue chicken in the past. Very same. What's most important is to get that deep barbecue. Put about 1/4 of a cup of white diced onion. There's that diced onion again. I love it. Gives it a lot of really great flavor. And then my last 3 ingredients is the barbecue sauce. Slather just all over. Okay, you want enough barbecue sauce to coat the bottom for it to bake in and marinate in the oven. If you don't have enough, you're welcome to pour about 1/2 cup or maybe a cup of vegetable broth in order to create a liquid in the bottom. That works as well, or you can use water. You don't want it to be too watery. You really want the barbecue sauce flavor to come through and come alive. I know this isn't steak, but the southern flavor and the depth of flavor that you get from adding this steak seasoning to your recipe is amazing. If you want to use this, I love to use this because it really gives that strong hickory smoked flavor to the alternative vegan chicken. So I usually will put or include liquid smoke. in my mixture. And then you can just stir this up if you like. Mix it up. Just make sure they're covered real good. Alright, so we wanted to make sure that these were covered entirely. Make sure you have adequate liquid in the bottom of your baking pan here. And then lastly, what you do is you cover with foil and poke holes here. And make sure you cover with foil and poke holes in the top so that it can air. And that's it. You put it in the oven at 400 degrees. And you want these to bake for about 35 minutes. 35 minutes is a solid good time for the flavors to really combine in your vegan chicken, but also for your baked beans to bake thoroughly and to also really take on that hickory barbecue flavor and the onions and the steak seasoning. And that's about it. You don't have to do longer than that. Keep in mind, as I shared with you before, this is a vegan alternative meat product. You don't have to prepare it as long as an animal meat product. So you just want to watch it, make sure that it's not drying and that it reaches a safe temperature. And about 35 minutes is good. For your corn, you probably want that to go for about 45 minutes, 35 to 45 minutes. And it should be very juicy, very sweet, and should be ready in about 40 to 45 minutes. And then your whole dinner is ready. So let me show you what that looks like, the final product. This is the final product. This is the baked vegan chicken. That's my barbecue steak beans, my cucumber and water. There we are. Perfect. Good. This is a delicious 4th of July summer meal that you can't go wrong. Easy to make, easy to travel as well. So if you're traveling to visit with family or friends and you want to take your own food with you, you can make this at home, pack it up easily, and absolutely enjoy. And let me tell you what typically happens when we take our own vegan food to our family events. Usually people are so curious, they eat our food instead. So make sure that you buy enough and prepare enough to share, because people will be very curious and surprised at how delicious your vegan food tastes. And we made all of that without any animal products. So don't be afraid this 4th of July to try your own vegan recipes. I hope you try this recipe. Doesn't take very long. It's filled with flavor, very southern deep flavor to this food, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you all so much. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Chef Cynthia Eats. You can also watch the show on Amazon Echo Show. Just ask Alexa to find Chef Cynthia Eats channel on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch live or on demand, or you can always visit my website at chefcynthiaeats.com to find all of my blog recipes as well as the episodes that we air live as well. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy. Be good.
Cut. Good job.
Yeah.